aside from it being blind, not knowing the distances to the target, where the targets were located, for me, probably, I think the bigger challenge was I have not got experience as an NRL or PRS style of shooter. So everything in this match was new to me. And for me, it was the first NRL or precision rifle type of match that I've ever been involved in. So, it produced some challenges for me, to say the least, as far as, that learning curve of how to develop good strategy for it. The idea behind NRL Hunter is really to put a real-world set of circumstances into play, but in a competition format. And so, there are a huge number of competitions out there, from F-Class to, NRL standard and precision rifle series, that you go into it kind of knowing what the target is and where it is and the distance to it, and you have time to pre-glass, you have the time to kind of orient yourself to the target and then develop your solutions. And so NRL Hunter really is as kind of as real world as you can get. This match really is to show people or put people into those circumstances where they're developing a solution, they're calling their win, they're doing it all in limited time frame, just like they would probably be in a hunt, because that deer is not on your timetable, or that bobcat or fox or whatever it may be they've got an agenda, and it's to limit their exposure. So they're not just going to hang out there forever for you to throw rounds at them. And so it was really well situated for that aspect of trying to match a real world situation, yet making it a fun competition that challenges everybody. They would put you in a staging area. Usually that staging area was, at least 30 yards or so from where you were going to be shooting. You only have 4 minutes to run from your staging area, get into your firing position, offload all your gear, and you're carrying everything. You're not allowed to kind of have a supply depot to where you can go get your ammo for this stage. You're literally going from stage to stage to stage, running in with very minimal time in between. The only information that you really received in that staging area was the type of animal target that you were going to be engaging. So it could be, bobcat, coyote, fox, deer, or antelope. You kind of have to strategize still how to manage that 4-minute time frame as efficiently as you can, as far as what gear do you throw down first, where do you put it down so you are not having to shift it around multiple times, and then finding your target, ranging it, developing a solution, and then building your position to shoot it from. If I were a shooter that was going to do NRL, knowing what I know now, I would run from the staging area, I would set my rifle up, ground my gear, pull out my tripod, begin the observation and ranging, note the ranges and solutions, and kind of orient myself to them, and then get back on the rifle and start doping the rifle for elevation and wind, and then getting my hits from near to far. That would truly be, just in a small sense, the most efficient way of doing it. We got there to the range in Haka on Friday. The first thing we did was check our rifle in, get it weighed to identify what category you were going to be competing in, whether it be factory, open heavy, or open light. Once every competitor had done the check-in process, we had a brief discussion to go over the specifics of the match.
So we're going to have 5 different types of targets. You're going to have a fox, you're going to have a bobcat, a coyote, an antelope, and a white-tailed deer. Okay, and so I did my best to lay it out in a way to where when you're looking for animals on your stage, you're not seeing a lot of other animals of that type. There are some places where you can see it, but it's usually pretty obvious. In, you know, when we get on glass here, you'll be able to see it. The targets are on a rebar A-frame. So they're hung from rubber straps, there's a crossbar, and then you have 2 legs on each side. When you actually get up to the stage, you're gonna have 3 pieces of rebar in the ground like this. The close one to you is gonna be your sighting pin, and then these 2 are going to be your outer limits. So the thought process is, if I come up here and I set my binos either on top of this, to the side of it, I'm going to be able to see all of my targets for that stage as I scan in between these 2 pieces of rebar.
The train-up day was just chock full of lessons, and what I found is, while 4 minutes sounds like a lot of time, it's really not. And especially in the train-up session where you kind of had to run down a hill and you're running through, in some places, 25 or 30 inches of snow, it's eating up a lot of time to just get there safely. The morning of the competition, this is totally separate from the competition itself, but I thought it was really cool. Being a Marine, considering myself a patriot, I loved that before the match even started, all the competitors grouped up and we said the Pledge of Allegiance. That meant a lot to me. And I think any of the veterans that were there, that's special when we can come together as red-blooded Americans, salute the country that we love, the greatest nation that's ever existed, in my opinion. I loved it. As far as the day itself, man, yes, it was cold, but it was beautiful. The sun was shining. It was a great experience, beautiful setting as far as property-wise. It truly, to me, made that experience so much more realistic than going to a square range or rectangle range. It's like a winter wonderland of long-distance shooting grandness. So it was a great experience all the way around. Very enjoyable. If you've had that blessing of going out, firing off a round and hearing that impact come back seconds later, you know what I'm talking about. It's a great experience. There's probably nothing better in shooting than a long range impact. And during the match, when you have 18 stages all running at the same time and you're hearing steel getting tagged, it's just, man, it feels great. And like I said, the setting was phenomenal. So on this particular trip, I got to do some really great things. I feel very blessed that, Springfield was willing to provide me with the 2020 Waypoint to shoot, and Bushnell, really set up with a broad complement of tools in order to do this match. It was fantastic, and everything really kind of flowed nicely there as far as the gear that was supplied in order to do this match. It was fantastic. It probably, something that I can't adequately express the gratitude that I have in order to be able to do this. I'm walking away from this competition really with a good perspective, and I think you can overcome about anything in life with the right perspective, and we all know that person out there that, it's never their fault, it's everybody else's fault, and they're going to blame the equipment. And in all truthfulness, my performance is based on me. Ultimately, it comes down to the shooter. That's why you have people out there that are always winners, because they hold themselves accountable. So for me, I think the best part of this match was it doesn't matter what I did 20 years ago. It matters what I did yesterday. And if I didn't prepare yesterday for what I'm going to face today, I'm going to have limited success until you put yourself in a situation where you fail. And sometimes we're going to fail. Sometimes we don't learn those lessons, or we don't take those lessons to heart. And so I'm really happy with that particular takeaway. For the last, 10 years or so, I've been far more heavy on my pistol training side and my carbine training side, definitely pistol than carbine, and my scope rifle time has been neglected to a certain extent, and so this has kind of whet that appetite for getting out and sending it at distance again.